Good morning, everyone. We are back for some more Maverick R content. We're gonna do some maintenance today. So we're gonna do a transmission service on this DCT 7-speed transmission on the Am Maverick R. I've got my service kit here from Evolution Powersports, and looks like they're using a Motul fluid here, and you know, should you use a factory DCT oil? Probably, who knows, but I tell you what, Evo's got some specs on the website showing where this is slightly outperforming the factory stuff. So areas of the car we're going to be dealing with: transmission. This is our not the fill hole, but this is the level hole right here. We're going to check the level. Behind this plastic case, we're going to get to the filter, and over on the driver's side, this is where the filler is right here. And of course, on the underside, we are going to drain the fluid. So let's get started. Okay, first off, I should thank you guys for all the new subscriptions. Man, it's just blowing up lately. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Second off, I realized I should probably tell you guys who I am. My name's Dean Hoover, and the channel is called Hoover Maneuvers. Where the name come from? Well, my brother Randy, he was a pretty funny guy, and he did a lot of mechanic stuff. He was an auto body and paint guy, and when he would do something, a little trick, or even make a mistake that happened to work out, he called it a Hoover maneuver. So that's where I picked it up from. So anyway, we're going to go through this step by step. I've got printouts from the manual that we're going to go through. I'm going to flash the steps up on the screen and guide you guys through the process. So here we go. Okay, so first thing you want to do is make sure your car is pretty clean around the transmission area. If you have some high pressure air, definitely blow everything off. We're going to get to the drain plugs down here. Here is our first set of instructions. We're going to put a drain pan under the gearbox drain, and we're going to remove both these plugs and try not to make a mess. So those access holes on a skid plate for the transmission drains, they are round, not oval like what's on the engine. They're round. The toilet paper roll deal, sorry, round. Toilet paper roll is a little bit too large a diameter to fit through there. So I took a toilet paper roll, cut it about in half, slid it almost all the way through. I just put a little tape on here just so it doesn't fray. And now it will go up in here by overcoming the slit and go right up against the transmission. Sorry for the camera work. The hope is that, if you can see that in there, that anything that starts to dribble along the edge of the transmission will hit the toilet paper roll and come out instead of on top of the skid plate. So we have two holes to do here. We're going to try it this way with the first one, see if it works there. I'm going to do the other one the same way. Okay, so we're using a 17 millimeter socket. We got this up against there. I'm going to try to get it out without making too much of a mess. It seems to be holding itself in there pretty good. And unlike the engine, the manual doesn't say anything about warming up the motor first before draining the fluid. It does talk about doing that for checking the fluid, but not for draining the fluid. So let's see how this goes. So far so good. When it starts to dribble, that's when we'll find out if our little toilet paper roll trick is actually going to be a benefit or a detriment. By the way, there are some small shavings on the end of this magnetic plug. I just heard a clunk fall in there too. We'll See what that's all about. They said this is normal to have a small amount on here. It's not too bad. Maybe some clutch debris or whatnot. Not too bad. Okay, the rear is almost done draining. We kind of lived through this together. The toilet paper roll trick, I'd say it's probably not the way to go. Here you can see the toilet paper roll sitting out. On first look, it looks like it's okay, but look at that. Sorry guys. All that draining out. And very good chance the toilet paper rolls make that worse. So, we all learn together. So for the second drain plug, I'm not using the toilet paper roll. Okay, the rear drain is basically done now. Toilet paper roll was a failure. I think though it's without the toilet paper roll, it's still going to leak. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's draining along the bottom of the transmission, and it's dripping down about right here above the skid plate. So unfortunately, I think this is going to be a messy job no matter what. You guys have a better solution, please let me know. Okay, let's move on to drain hole number 2. Broke it loose. There she comes. This drain plug is similar to like the other plug on the motor, and then it's got this extra O-ring on here. So be sure you get a complete oil change kit which has these extra O-rings, the new ones and the new washers. Magnetic tip. It's got some debris on it. I'll check it out closer on the bench. And it is making a complete mess on the skid plate. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I don't know. Maybe the toilet paper roll was better than I thought. I don't know if you guys can see where that's draining. Apologize if we can't. All right, guys. I got to tell you, so far, this is not a clean job to do whatsoever. I think no matter what, with the skid pan on there, it's going to drain all over the top of the skid pan. So, and looking at the skid pan, this thing is really, really thin, and not a lot of protection for underneath the final drive there. So, I'm going to end up replacing all the underbody, and I'm going to hopefully have this area underneath the engine as a removable piece, and that'll make changing the transmission fluid and the engine oil much, much easier. So I'm not going to bore you with all the stuff of me cleaning this up. I'm going to be cleaning this up for a while. Okay, so again, the skid pan thing, it's a mess. And we've got some more draining to do before I make the skid pan sparkling clean, because I'm probably going to drain some more on it. So anyway, next thing we're going to do is this cover here. So we're going to remove the screws that hold the hydraulic valve and oil filter protector cover in place and move the cover. So if you, like me, have already installed your shocker exhaust, you've had this off before. So I'm taking an 8mm and we're just going to zip it off real quick. Okay, and it's off. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to be working with the items in here. So all this area right here, we're going to be working around. So we want to clean it up real good before we do that. But the purpose of getting that area is to clean around the oil filter cover, and there's a locking tie that goes on the temperature sensor connector. We have to undo that too. So let's get this area cleaned up. Okay, so area's all cleaned up. So what we're gonna do is there's a zip tie on this connector. We're gonna cut that zip tie, we're gonna unplug this, and then we're gonna undo the oil filter housing bolts and get this off. Okay, I've got some paper towels set up here. I'm gonna cut this zip tie. Free up that wire. It's got a small clip on there. There we go. That's up out of the way. Let's take the housing cover off. And sure enough, we got oil coming out of there. Quite a bit. Let's see if I can catch my mess. Like that. Blooper reel. Okay, so I got most of my mess cleaned up right here. Hindsight's 2020, right? Look at this nice little magnetic tray. It would have caught a good portion of that. So make sure this area is all clean. Now, we got one more drain plug to pull out, and that's this one right here. It's in between these two solenoids on the bottom side. And you'll see that in the instructions I'm posting on the screen. It indicates there's going to be a fair amount of oil coming out of here. This is a 10 millimeter socket you need for this. There it comes. Yeah, probably, I'd say that's probably a fair amount. Okay, that looks to have stopped draining right there. So now what we want to do is we want to prepare our stuff for reassembly. Okay, so remember that clunk when we took the first plug out? That falling into the oil drain pan, that was the washer. So the Evo kit comes with all new seals and washers. So I've lined up the new washer for this one. Going to go on. That's the rear drain plug. This is the front drain plug. Taking off that washer. Put on a new washer here. And then it's got the O-ring. I'm going to replace that. Be very careful, even when taking off the old O-ring. You never know when you might split one and have to reuse an old one. Let's put the new O-ring on. Yeah, I still got a little debris on that magnet. New O-ring on there. This is the last drain plug we just took out. We're going to put a new washer on it that it comes with. Oil filter housing. We're going to use a new O-ring for it. It comes with. And in the kit, you're going to see a couple of more deals that we're not going to use quite yet, only because we haven't got to the filler plug and the level plug. But now that we've got these, oh, by the way, here's the old filter, the new filter. See, it says gearbox only, because it's open right here. This is different than the filter for your engine. Filter for your engine, this is closed off. So make sure that you don't mix this up with your oil filters. So now that we got all of our new parts ready to go back in, we will start reassembly before of the drain plugs and so on, before we put fluid in the transmission. While I'm here, I'm going to put just a little bit of fluid on these O-rings so that they don't risk getting torn, and everything goes together nice and smooth. I'm just using little dabs of the old fluid. Yeah, roast me now. Go ahead. I should have used new fluid here. it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to put this drain plug back in first with its new washer. Make sure you follow the manufacturer's recommended torque specs when you put it on there. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, now we're going to put the transmission filter in. It's already been pre-lubed. Slides on there nice, centered up. Get my cap on there. At least I'm, again, follow manufacturer specs for torquing. Okay, we're going to reconnect our temperature sensor wire. That kind of tucked in there like that. And this like this. Then we'll put a zip tie on there just like before. Nice. Okay, I'm not going to put this plastic cap over this just yet. I'm going to finish putting the two drain plugs back in and fill this up, and we'll do a run and test because I want to be able to see if I got any leaks over here. Okay, now I'm going to put my drain plugs back in. Remember the one with the O-ring goes to the front. Okay, the one without the O-ring goes to the back. Okay, so what's next? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare to fill it up full of fluid. And to do that, this is our oil level plug. So we're going to remove that. And this is our oil fill plug. We're going to remove that. So we're going to fill it here. And with this plug out, we're going to wait until the oil starts coming out of there. So let's get those plugs out. I don't expect any oil to come out of this right now. By the way, this is a 15 millimeter. But when it does start to come out, this little magnetic screw holder, I think it's going to work out good. There's that O-ring. Remember I showed you the O-ring on the table that we hadn't used yet? That's where that's going to go. And now for this side, for this filler plug, that's a 10 millimeter Allen. So now we're going to try to get that off. Let's get that bit in there all the way. There we go. It's pretty loose now. And comes right off. Don't lose that washer. Remember, you're going to replace it. That one right there. And we're going to go ahead and get these plugs prepped. Here's our new washer for the fill side. Take the O-ring off. Kind of walk it off a little bit. You don't want to rip it or tear it. You never know when you might need it out as a trail fix. Put the O-ring on there, just like so. All right, now let's figure out how we're going to get over 3 quarts of fluid in a little hole like that. Okay, you'll see this on your screen, but it takes anywhere between 3.17 to 3.7 quarts of the DC2 gearbox oil or the Motul oil. The kit comes with 4 quarts, so you're covered. I'll show you the funnel that looks like I'm going to use that funnel, and I was able to kind of wedge it in there. Now I just got to pour the fluid in there slowly. By the way, guys, I want to show you, you can take the cap off just like a regular quart of oil. But notice this little thing inside the cap. There's a little center cap there. You can take that off, and then you just pull this out through the top. That way you've got something you can kind of pull on its side and it won't come out so fast. So I'm gonna give this one a try. Okay, I got one quart in already. I just want to film here a little bit. I do kind of like this thin outlet or filler neck, what do you want to call it, going into the funnel. It's a little slower, but I feel like if there's a oops, it'll make way less mess. Let's see if I can capture any of this for you. There it goes. So you got to kind of squeeze it a little bit, get it to come out. It's obviously slower, but if you drop something, it just feels like it's a little more in control. Do as you please. You can pour it in fast. It's pretty thin oil. I don't think it's going to back up on you and come out through the top of the filler neck. But this is the way I'm going to do it. Okay, I want to show you guys something. I got 2 quarts in there, and I got a little bit of fluid dripping right there. I know I'm nowhere near full because I only got 2 quarts and it'll hold over 3. But the thing is, you want the oil to basically be pooled inside there all the way up to the top of the threads. I think what you're seeing coming out is it was gushing out, splashing, and then coming out. All right, I'm gonna put the 3rd quart in. You tell me if it starts flowing out of there. You didn't tell me it was coming out. That's 3 quarts. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna plug it, and then we're gonna go through our check procedure, which means we have to run it for a bit, and then let it come out, and so on. And I imagine we'll end up adding a little more in there. My little magnetic parts tray worked pretty good. All right, let's get ready for the startup procedure. Okay, I got the level plug back in. I got the filler plug back in. And remember, it was coming out with only 3 quarts of oil, and it's supposed to hold 3.17 to 3.7, something like that. But remember, we drained this over here. So we drained some fluid out of the lines. So we're gonna start it up like the manual says and let it run for a minute. And then after that minute, we're gonna check our fluid here again. I imagine it'll hold a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. Looking for leaks. Okay, I actually let it run for probably about 2 or 3 minutes. I put my hand on the brake, I put it in drive, put it in reverse, let the wheels turn a little bit, and of course it shut it off now. Let's see how it does. Let's see how it looks. Logic would tell us it's going to be a little bit low. Oh, yep, look at there. Nothing coming out. Looks like it needs to come up. I think where our level is in there about a good inch. So we're only gonna add a little bit at a time. Okay, I've got my level plug out, my tray back in position. I got the filler plug out, got my funnel ready, and I'm gonna add some oil. Remember, it's showing 3.17 to 3.7 quarts. That's a half a quart variant. That's a pretty good spread. So I'm going to put in a little bit at a time. It's going to be a little painstaking because I can't see from over there. And last time you guys didn't tell me when it was coming out. So let's put some fluid in a little at a time. I can see it's about a ½ inch away from the top of the threads. And there, it's going to take a little bit for it to drain all the way down from the top too. Let's get closer. I've almost put in this full quart. Okay, before I put in the rest of that quart, I'm going to go through my check procedure one more time here. I'm going to plug this, put the filler cap back on, run it for a minute, see how she does. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually holds 4 quarts instead of 3.7. Okay, I started it again. I ran a little bit drive, ran a little bit reverse. Let's see what's coming out of here now. Well, I think it's going to hold the whole 4 quarts. I think so. Okay, I'm going around and going to put in the rest of this 4th quart. Right now I'm down to right here on the level, so looks like it's going to hold all of it. Well, that's 4 quarts. And that's almost to the top of the threads. I'm not going to go any more than 4 quarts. So here's what I recommend. You drive it, you check it, you drive it, you check it. Do it 2 or 3 times before you're satisfied that your levels are right. I think 4 quarts is actually reasonable because I let this thing drain for a long time. So if you're going through your local Can-Am dealer, they might just let this thing drain, and then as soon as the stream stops, put the plug back in and don't get as much residue out as possibly as I did. I don't know, I could be full of you know what. So let's get this job here buttoned up. All right guys, so transmission has been serviced. I probably made it look a lot harder than what it actually is. Some of the key points is just make sure you change all your O-rings and your washers. Follow the instructions and that you torque everything down the right specs. The capacity of the transmission, I put 4 quarts back in there. In fact, I put more than 4 quarts. Each one of those Motul bottles is 1.05 quarts. They're 1 liter bottles. I'm a little perplexed about that. I'm not too worried about it right now, but I'm obviously going to keep an eye on things. So there you go. I've got a mess to clean up. Highly recommend that remove the pan down there and make it a much easier job. Again, thanks for tuning into the channel. Thanks for subscribing and sharing. Man, you guys are really making my day with these numbers going up every day. I'm going to try to get a video out here real soon on the EVO intake. And here's just a little sneak preview. Look at the size of that filter inlet. Look at that thing. So, things to come. All right, we'll see you on the next video.